first time I ever met Brett Myers, we were out and about. It was like fall instructional league, and we were all out in like Ybor City. And get in there. This is like my first fall league or whatever, or second fall league. And Myers is in there. And I go up to him and say, "Hey, what's up, bro? Like, Ryan Howard, nice to meet you." And Brett. Brett's had a couple. And he's like, "I know who you are." He said, "And I'll strike you out." Now I'm forgetting, I'm leaving out some words because it's probably a family show. But I was just like, okay. I said, "Well, we're in the club, but when we get to the field, bro, it's nothing but space and opportunity." And that right there showed me like this dude is a competitor. I'm like, "Bro, you might be one of the top prospects in the organization, but I don't give a damn." Like, let's go. You know what I mean? And that is what we had, were guys that didn't care and they were just true competitors. And when you put that together to where no matter how it was that you went about it or what your character was, at the end of the day, everybody wanted to win. And then when we finally saw it in ourselves, I think that's where things started to change. And then Jimmy goes out and makes the comment of saying like, "Hey, no, like I think we're the team to beat," as he should. And then we wound up doing what we needed to do and wound up getting over the hump and getting into the playoffs that year.
So this is a family show, but you can say what Brett Myers said because we have Brett Myers on the show. So we're all unfiltered here. So whatever you feel like, whatever story you feel like you need to express from your time there is totally good. But since you brought up Brett Myers, and we're talking about some dudes that start like, making their way into the big leagues, what about the KK story with Brett Myers? What was your role in this?
You just would feel so bad for KK because KK was just abused. He was
Kyle Kendrick.
abused.
Kyle Kendrick.
Yes, Kyle
who
Kendrick.
talking about.
Kyle Kendrick. Yeah. And it was just like Brett's life mission to just have as much fun at the expense of Kyle as he possibly could. When they did the whole, "Hey, you got traded for what's his face, the hot dog eating guy," and
Kobayashi.
Yeah, Kobayashi. I mean, and everybody was in on it, and it was just like, "Bro, good luck, man. Like, you know what? You're gonna be fine over there." And just how Kyle would get these blank stares and this blank look on his face. Like when Ruben was telling him and Charlie, oh my gosh, like those guys both deserve like an Academy Award for just how they just laid it on. And then to have the media involved, I mean, I was like, bro, this is too much. But of course, it had Myers all over it.
Was it too far? Did they take it too far? Because I say that because I remember talking to you when I first came up to the big leagues in 2011, and I was like, "Man, you guys really treat rookies really well." Other teams that I've been on, like, they absolutely crush rookies. I mean, you know how. And you said, you go, "Dude, all we want to do is win." He's like, if a guy comes up to the big leagues, he's not coming up to just fill a spot. He's coming up to help us win. So we want to make these guys feel comfortable. So do you feel like they took that prank a little too far?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that helps bring you closer, I think, as a team, to where it's like, okay, the amount of relief on his face when he found out he's not going to Japan. He's like, "I don't even know. Can they do this? Can they send me to Japan?" He had no clue. So, I mean, it brought everybody closer. And for as much as Myers would get on Kyle, like, they were still good to where, they'd still be. Everybody had good relationships to where we were still talking and being able to feed off of each other. So, I don't think it was too far. I think it was hilarious, and just having some fun.
Brett said in his Legends territory, his version of this show, while he talked a lot about beers, a lot about beers. The one thing he said about the Phillies team was, you guys were a tight clubhouse, but you didn't necessarily go out to dinner a lot. Was he right on that? Was there something to that? Was it just different ages of guys?
I mean, we were a very tight clubhouse, and like I said, it was because everybody wanted to win. You had all different kind of personalities. You had Shane, who all he did was eat sugar every day. You had Jimmy, who was the swag. You had Chase, who was like the hard nose. Like you had Myers, who was the asshole, and he would tell you that everybody would say it. He's the asshole. You had J Dub, who was sarcastic, but the thing was, and then you had Pat's just his own entity, and um, the thing about it is that again, we all had one common goal and desire, and that was to win. So it didn't really matter about all the other stuff. It was just, hey, how do we come together to win? Now we did have a lot of guys that were very um, good on the charitable fronts because we had guys that had a lot of foundations, and the guys would come out and support each other in their foundation events. And so I think that was very big. You know, we did stuff in spring training where actually that's not necessarily true with what Myro said because Myro must have forgot. We used to go bowling all the time in spring training. So it was like me, Jimmy, Brett, Milt, and then whoever else wanted to come, we would do bowling in spring training on like I think it was like Wednesday nights or something like that. And so it was like we'd get up to maybe 10, 15 guys, whether it was big leagues or minor league guys in camp, and we would all go bowling and then like we put teams together and losing team had to pay. So again, just more competition, but now this is just outside the clubhouse, which I think, continued to bring us closer.
I remember you guys going bowling. I wasn't on the team at that time, but I was over at the Dunedin
Yeah, in Toronto,
complex,
yeah.
and a bunch of those dudes would, we'd come out and be like, "Oh yeah, it's a Wednesday night. It's a
Mhm.
Wednesday night roll." And we always thought Jimmy was the best bowler, but maybe was it you, Piece?
I'd have some moments. Myro was really good. Brett was
Really?
really good. Yeah, Brett was really good.
Rednecks can bowl. Never knew that.
Yeah, man. He's got a bowling alley at his crib, man. He's got one at his house.
Now
Yeah.
that I'm not surprised about.